All right, friends, let's take a look at our learning target for today. Our learning target says, I can count up to the number 5. So our action word for today is count. We've been practicing a lot of counting. Counting helps train our brains to not only know our numbers when we see them, but also know the order of them. When we count, we don't skip around and say 1, 99, 70, 22. That would make our brains all confused. When we count in order, or another way to say that is in sequence. So today we're going to practice doing that, and we're going to start practicing training our brains to know what numbers come before and after other numbers, and what each of these numbers represent in groups, okay? So right away, I want you to look right here for a minute underneath our learning target. This resource right here is called a number line. Can you guys say those words with me? Number line. Good. Our number line shows us the order of numbers as we count them. Our number line starts at the number 0 in kindergarten. This is the number that we start with. But when we count, we don't have to say 0 because we know it comes first, it's nothing. So when we start counting, we start with 1, then go to 2, 3, 4, 5. You guys will see this on your name tags when you come to school too. So we're going to turn to page 61 for our solve and share. Page 61 tells us that Marta is thinking of 2 numbers. One number is the number that comes before this number right here. What is this number? 4. If it comes before this number, that means we're going to look at this line right here. It's in front of. When she's counting, she knows that this number, when she gets to it, while she's counting, she's going to have to jump back and think, ooh, what number did I say before 4? So let's count and see what number we get before 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we just got to 4. What number did we say before 4? 3. And we know that because when we look at our number line, whoop, this is it right there, number 3. It comes right before 4. So with your pencil, I want you to write the number 3 on the line. Around the tree, around the tree. That's the way to make a 3. Okay? It also says that she's thinking of a number that comes after the number 4. We can count on from these 2 numbers. We don't have to start all the way at 1. So when we're counting, we say 3, 4. What comes next? 5. Let's write it on the line. Straight line down, halfway around, hat on top. 5 is found. And we can check ourselves with this resource, the number line, and see that, yep, after 4, is the number 5. Another way to think about it is your birthday. You turn 3 years old before you turn 4. And how old do you turn after you're 4 years old? 5. So you know you're correct. Kiss your brains. And turn to the next page, page 62. With our guided practice on page 62, these friends are showing us our number order. This number order starts with 0. Okay? So what we're going to do is trace our numbers that they've already written for us in order. We're also going to mark out and count the number of cubes that match that number. So, what is our first number? 0. Do we need to mark out any cubes? No, sirree, because 0 means none. So let's trace our 0 and say our number rhyme. Down to the left to find my hero. Back to the top, I've made my 0. Very good. Let's go over to this number. Let's mark out how many cubes we have. 1. Good. Let's trace our 1. Start at the top and down you run. That's the way to make a 1. Now, if we're going in order, we know the next number is what? 2. Let's mark out and count. 1, 2. Now let's trace our 2 and say our rhyme. First a candy cane, then a shoe. That's the way to make a 2. Good. Let's go to our next number and mark out our cubes. It's really, really small, so we're going to have to use little lines. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Let's trace our 3. around the tree, around the tree. That's the way to make a 3. You can see that as we're counting higher and higher, our tower of cubes gets taller and taller. That shows us as we're counting each number, our numbers get bigger. Let's count the next group. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's trace our 4. Down and over and down once more. That's the way to make a 4. Okay, you can see the next number is 1 more than 4. There's 1 more cube on top. 5. Let's count it. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now let's trace our 5. Straight line down, halfway around, head on top. 5 is found. Good job, friends. Now let's count to make sure we have them all right. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Very good. Give yourselves a roller coaster cheer. Click, click, click. Woo! Good job. All right. Now the next page is your independent practice page. This is the page you're going to post to your teacher's Google Classroom. And I'll explain those directions after we're finished with page 64. Okay? So go ahead and turn to page 64. All right, on page 64, we're going to look at number 4. And on number 4, what we're going to do is write our numbers in order. And we're going to count the objects inside the box to make sure that the numbers that we write match how many objects there are. And by the end, we'll see again that our numbers are in order. So look inside the first box. Do you see any objects? No. So what number do we need to write? 0. Let's make it down to the left to find my hero. Back to the top, I've made my 0. Now let's count and mark out the next one. 1. Start at the top and down you run. That's the way to make a 1. Okay, let's count the balls. Ready? 1, 2. Let's make our 2. First a candy cane, then a shoe. That's the way to make a 2. And I love how you guys are hitting those lines. They're not floating numbers. They're not teeny tiny numbers. Great job. Keep doing your best. Let's keep counting and marking out. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Let's make our 3 around the tree, around the tree. That's the way to make a 3. Let's look at the balls. Let's count and mark them. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, let's make our 4. Down and over and down once more. That's the way to make a 4. Are the objects in the boxes getting bigger or smaller? Bigger. We're getting more of them in each box. Let's count the last one. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's make our 5. Straight line down, halfway around, head on top. 5 is found. Good. Now the next one, we're going to be switching back and forth between our pencil. I'm using my marker so you can see it, but we're going to switch from our pencil to a crayon. So I want you to choose one color crayon. I'm going to use Bippity Boppity Boo, orange. All right, the lucky color. What we're going to do is make our towers in order from 0 to 5. So we're going to color our towers to show that we know how many each number is. Okay, let's start with our pencil because the first one, if we're saying that we have 0 cubes, that we're going to color 0 of them, what number do we need to write to match it? 0, we just said it. So down to the left to find my hero, back to the top, I've made my 0. Good. Now we're going to make 1. When we're coloring, I want you to start at the bottom. So we're going to frame and color the first cube to show that we have 1. With your pencil, I want you to write the number 1 after you color that first cube. So we're showing that we know that 1 means 1 object. Okay? All right. Let's go over to the next one. Let's switch to our crayon. We're going to color what number? We're going to color 2 cubes starting at the bottom. 1, 2. Okay. All right. We have 2 cubes. Let's make our 2 with our pencil below. First a candy cane, then a shoe. That's the way to make a 2. Good job. And that tells us we know that 2 is bigger than 1. Okay, let's go to the next one with our crayons, starting at the bottom. How many are we going to color? 3. Ready? 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now let's make our 3. Around the tree, around the tree. That's the way to make a 3. And that shows us 3 is 1 more than 2. Just keeps getting bigger. Okay, switch back to our crayon. How many are we going to color next? 4. Let's color 1 at a time instead of all at once. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now let's make our 4. Ready? With our pencil, down and over and down once more. That's the way to make a 4. All right, and our last one, how many are we going to color? 5. Before we do, I'll show you our 4 cube train. So 4 is 1 more than 3. Okay, let's color 5, starting from the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good, and I like how you colored 1 at a time instead of all at once, so you know you've colored 5. Let's make our 5 to match. Straight line down, halfway around, hat on top, 5 is found. Give me a thumbs up if we put our numbers in order. Very good. Another way we say that is in sequence. Sequence is a big fancy word for order. So now we've made 5. We made our way up from 0 all the way to 5, showing that we know how to count up to that number. Good job. So I want you to flip back to page 63. This is what you're going to do and post to your Google Classroom. And your instructions say that you are going to do exactly what we just practiced on our Challenger. You're going to color each of your cubes to match your numbers in order. So they start by giving you dotted numbers and some examples. You're still going to color and trace. Okay? So do you need to color any cubes here? No sirree, because that's the number 0. How many are you going to color here? 1, and trace your 1, then 2, and so forth, okay? The next one, you're going to do the same thing, but you have some flowers in a little vase. So remember to use your pencil. You don't need any crayons for this problem. Use your pencil to count and mark out how many you have and write your number to match. Get it? Got it? Good. All right. Great job today, friends. Do your very best, keep working hard, and work towards hitting that learning target. And I will see you again tomorrow on Wednesday for math.